So Zohran Mamdani just became the first Muslim mayor of New York City. And 50 Cent, who is a New York native, is not too happy about that. In fact, he just posted this on his Instagram, saying rest in peace to New York City.
And my job as someone who believes deeply in the public sector is to ensure that we're delivering public excellence. And that means every dollar that we raise, I want to be able to prove to you that it's every dollar that's being well spent. That's the relationship there. And I do have to say, even though we have a disagreement on tax policy, every time I get a death threat, I still listen to many men.
And Republicans actively protect pedophiles.
DL Hughley just went off on 50 Cent, and honestly, he didn't miss a single word. DL is calling out how these rich celebs keep acting like they're still for the people. But the second someone actually pushes a policy that might help regular folks, they start freaking out. He's basically saying 50's all talk, and now he's backing it up with receipts. So here's the deal. Zohran Mamdani just got elected as the new mayor of New York City, the city's first Muslim mayor ever. And the man hasn't even moved into City Hall yet. But 50 Cent is already acting like New York is officially done for.
The working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. The future is in our hands.
DL Hughley's not having it. He's out here sending verbal shots and exposing what he calls the fakery behind 50's big talk. Now let's break down what really went down. Zohran Mamdani's win was historic. He's one of the most progressive mayors NYC has ever seen. His campaign focused on freezing rent hikes, building more affordable housing, and even making public transit free. In short, he's pushing for working class relief instead of just making life smoother for the rich. And that's exactly what's got 50 all worked up. Because right after the election, 50 jumped online doing the most. He posted an image of a tombstone that said RIP NYC with 2025 as the city's supposed year of death. Then he doubled down by posting a photo of himself chilling at dinner with his crew, captioning it, "Escape from New York, hit the road. All roads lead to Shreveport," like he's saying New York's over and the new kingdom is in Louisiana. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Shreveport isn't just some random spot. It's where 50's been pouring major money into his entertainment empire. Through G-Unit Film and Television, he's leasing out studio space, launching a $50 million entertainment district, and branding Shreveport as the new Hollywood of the South. Basically, 50 is saying if you want to work with him, you better pack your bags and head to Louisiana. But people are asking, what's really behind his outrage? Because Mayor Mamdani's plan doesn't even touch average people. He's just raising the income tax by 2% for folks making over $1 million a year, bumping the corporate tax rate to around 11.5%, and fixing that shady property tax system that lets billionaire penthouses cost less than homes in the Bronx. That's what's got 50 heated. It sounds like his issue isn't about New York dying, but about the rich having to finally pay their fair share. Mamdani didn't just talk about raising taxes. He went straight for the heart of the issue. He's planning to shift the tax load away from working class neighborhoods and toward high-end luxury zones like Central Park South. Those same spots where billion-dollar condos get sweetheart tax deals while regular homeowners in the Bronx and Queens keep getting squeezed dry. And that's exactly what's got 50 all worked up, like the city just flatlined. But the internet wasn't letting him slide. The comment section ate him alive. People were calling him a sellout, saying he completely forgot where he came from. One user wrote, "Guy who sold crack to his community suddenly cares about their well-being." Another reminded him that when he got shot 9 times, his hospital bills were covered by taxpayer-funded programs. Somebody else jumped in saying, "Your grandma was on food stamps." One commenter joked, "Won't be long before he's in Tel Aviv, kissing the wall, LOL." It was pure chaos online. That's when DL Hughley stepped in with his message, and he didn't hold back. DL said it's wild to see people like 50, who came from the struggle, now crying over policies designed to help the same folks they used to be. He called out how all these rich celebs stayed silent when Trump cut food stamps and turned hunger into a political weapon, but now they suddenly panicking over a mayor who's trying to make life fairer for working people. DL basically said, these stars are scared of the wrong person.
Here's what's interesting to me. So Mamdani is going to be the new mayor of New York, 34-year-old kid. Like I said, I live in New York. I couldn't vote in that election, but if I could, it would have been an easy choice. But here's what I really don't understand. The man who is actively trying to use hunger to get his political way saying that people won't have food unless they do his political bidding. Is saying that the man who wants to make rent cheaper, public transportation cheaper, and food cheaper is the one who is ruining America. So the man who wants to starve you to get what he wants thinks that the dude who wants to feed you, house you, and get you, make you able to get around cheaper is the horrible one. That tells you everything you need to know about where we are.
And then things got even spicier. Mayor Mamdani himself decided to clap back at 50 Cent to clear the air about his tax policy. See, 50 had joked online saying he'd pay Mamdani $285,750 to leave NYC, trying to make fun of the mayor's plan. But Mamdani just laughed it off. He said 50 clearly doesn't understand how taxing the top 1% actually helps everyone, not hurts them. He handled it with calm confidence. No shade, just straight facts.
What I would say to you, 50, if you are indeed watching, or anyone else who's watching this show, is I continue to think that having the top 1% of New York City, who are making more than $1 million a year, having them pay 2% more for an economic agenda that would transform every New Yorker's life, including their own, is something that is worthwhile. I have to say, even though we have a disagreement on tax policy, every time I get a death threat, I still listen to Many Men. It's true.
Well, you take Many Men for motivation. I was going to say your answer sounds a little bit like clickety clank, the money goes into my piggy bank.
Wow.
And if we had more time, we'd do more 50.
Of course, 50 wasn't done. He later shared a clip of Mamdani's response on his Instagram and captioned it, "I think his intentions are good, but his tax plan is going to run the big money out of the city. And if he defunds the police, they are going to purge. All roads lead to Shreveport." That post lit up the internet again. Now, let's unpack that, because what 50 said there is classic scare talk. Rich folks love to threaten that they'll leave the city every time taxes come up. It's the oldest bluff in the game. New York has been hearing that same line since the 1970s. And guess what? The rich never really leave. They stay put because New York is where the real money flows. Just look at Bill Ackman, a billionaire hedge fund manager who spent months dragging on money during the campaign. He didn't just debate policies, he went low and dirty. He shared racist posts about money, painted him like some dangerous radical, and told everyone he'd move to Florida if Mamdani ever won. Spoiler alert, he's still here. But check this out. The second Zohran Mamdani was officially declared the winner, billionaire Bill Ackman switched up fast. He jumped on Twitter and wrote, "Zohran Mamdani, congrats on the win. Now you have a big responsibility. If I can help New York, just let me know what I can do." Like, wait, what? Where's that same energy from when he said he was packing his bags for Florida? Suddenly, he's all smiles and offering to help? Yeah, that's what you call a major flip. See, here's the truth. Ackman was never really planning to leave. That whole "I'm out of here" act was just a scare move to mess with voters before the election. That's the playbook the rich pull out every single time the power starts to shift, even slightly. They love to scream, "The sky is falling," pretend the economy is about to crash, and act like they're the ones being oppressed. But let's be real. These billionaires aren't going anywhere. New York is where their offices are, where the real deals happen, and where the big investors live. You can't recreate that kind of money flow in Florida or Louisiana, no matter how low the taxes are. So instead of actually leaving, they bluff. They use fear to try and pressure politicians into backing down. And when that doesn't work, they change their tone overnight and start playing nice like they were Team New York all along. And that's exactly what this Ackman and 50 Cent situation proves. The second someone even talks about touching a fraction of their wealth, they go on a full-blown fear campaign. Suddenly they care about the people, acting like they're protecting the working class. But at the end of the day, they're still right here stacking money while pretending the city is in trouble. Now, let's talk about that other part, where 50 said Mamdani's going to defund the police. If 50 actually took a second to read the man's policy, he'd know Mamdani never said he was cutting off the police entirely. He talked about rebalancing the city budget, putting more funds into housing, mental health, and community programs, instead of endlessly pouring millions into a police department that still can't stop crime before it happens. That's not some purge situation, that's just plain common sense. Cities that invest in people instead of just punishment actually end up with less crime, not more. That's facts backed by years of data. So while 50's over there posting like New York is about to collapse and everyone's everyone's running for their lives, that fear talk only helps the rich at the top. Because while regular New Yorkers are just trying to cover rent, keep food on the table, and make it to work on the train, 50's sitting in his Houston mansion, worried about a tax hike he can more than afford. And that right there, that's the real disconnect DL Hughley was calling out. He's talking about the moment when a man who built his whole legacy on get rich or die trying suddenly flips the script and acts like the real problem is poor folks just trying to survive. It's wild when someone who came from the same struggle starts treating progress like it's a threat instead of a blessing. Because when you really think about it, this whole situation isn't just about 50 Cent throwing a fit or one billionaire crying over taxes. It's a whole pattern. It's the same tide move we see every time. Rich folks trying to scare everyone into thinking that progress, fairness, and equality are somehow dangerous. They spend fear while pretending to warn the public, but deep down, it's just about protecting their own pockets. Mayor Mamdani's out here trying to make life a little easier for working folks, talking rent control, fair taxes, and real investment in communities. And somehow, that's what's got them panicking. It's ironic, isn't it? The same ones posting RIP New York are still here making millions off the city they swear is dead. They're not leaving, they're just loud. So let's be real. Do you think 50 got a point? Or do you think he's just another one who forgot where he came from the second the check started rolling in? I want to hear what you think about all this. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and don't forget to share this video so more people can join the convo. Let's talk about it.